Okay. Okay, so for Lag BaOmer, so today's Lag BaOmer, and I want to share with you my own concept that I was thinking about. First of all, it's also Parashat Behad. And so the connection is very, very simple. If you quote it yourself, great. If not, it's very, very. Sheva Shavatot to mean one. Sheva Pe'amim. You count 7 by 7. Shemitah, 7 years times 7 cycles is 49 years. Yovel. That's the same thing as the Omer, 7 by 7. So literally a link right in the Parasha. That's the starting. That's just everyone should already have caught that. In addition, I've seen we say after we count the Omer, we say Lam Naseach B'Yinot Moshir after the Omer. Why do we say this dafka, this Tehillim, Moshe? Yeah, why dafka this one? It's Tehillim 67. Tehillim 67, it's 7 Pesukim and 7 words each pasuk. So it's also 49. Also in the Menorah, also as well. But for our purposes, it's not the Menorah. Yeah, for Omer, it's also 7 by 7. 1 word for every day. But that's just the appetizer. Let's get into the action. Lag BaOmer, huh? He's counting. Lag BaOmer. It's actually a big question. What is Lag BaOmer? What? It doesn't say Shulchan Aruch. Maran Shulchan Aruch doesn't say Lag BaOmer. He talks about it halachically, how you should wait until take haircuts. He said they died until Lag, and then they stopped dying. We wait till Lag. That's what Maran Shulchan Aruch says. But this whole Hilulah, and the bonfires and celebration, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Maran Shulchan Aruch doesn't say this. He doesn't even say that you don't say Anna on Lag BaOmer. It's the Ramah that adds this. That you say Yishem on Lag BaOmer. We do it. Yeah, it's the custom of the Jewish people. Lag BaOmer became a massive holiday. A lot of times I find, and I don't think it's a bad thing, a lot of the minor holidays have become major holidays in Judaism. Like Lag BaOmer, Tu B'Shvat. Oh my goodness, everyone goes crazy Tu B'Shvat. What is it? Like sometimes it's hard to find. I think I told you, Moshe. They always say, "Oh, could you give a big dirasha for Tu B'Shvat? Give a nice clap." What do you want me to give? If you don't have Hasidic stuff, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's the Hasidim that made all these things. Halachically, you're not going to open up a Gemara and tell you all about Tu B'Shvat, the power of the berachot and the land, and it's nothing. No, so Tu B'Shvat, Lag BaOmer became this massive thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I was saying I've seen from a Hasidic perspective. I've seen the Lubavitcher Rebbe say this. A lot of these holidays are so powerful they have to be hidden, almost like Purim. Like on Purim, it's the most holiest day of the year. Like Yom Kippurim, Purim is the holiest day of the year. They hide it with, they mask it behind costumes and alcohol because it's too powerful to give over the table, so it's under the table. And I'm not saying it's wrong. And so Lag BaOmer also, Tu B'Shvat also, they would say the Hasidim, they love these holidays. Lag BaOmer, like I just told Uncle Jack, Maran Shulchan Aruch says, these are the days when the students of Rabbi Akiva died, and they stopped dying on Lag BaOmer. And so we're thankful that they stopped dying. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Maran Shulchan Aruch doesn't talk about this. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, some people say, obviously, this is the day that he died, which is called the Yom Hilulah. It's in the Zohar. He told them on the day that he died, he revealed unbelievable Kabbalistic revelations. This is straight out. This is the Zohar. And they call it Yom Hilulah, which is a wedding. In Aramaic, they call the wedding a Hilulah. And so, right? Because like Hatan comes out to greet the bride, the day that a rabbi, the day that a rabbi dies, the day that a good person dies, the righteous person dies, it's a wedding day. It's not a death day. He's going to go to Shaman. Okay. It's worth noting the Hidah writes in his Sefer Marit Ha'ayin that he doesn't believe this is when Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai died. He doesn't believe it. The Hidah writes. but it could be. If nothing else, it's all we have is we have a no. There's nothing. We have a long time. I don't know. So no, there's a testimony. They bring the Hatam Sofer, I believe, brings a testimony that they say that the Arizal used to go to Meron on Lag BaOmer. So the Arizal did it, and then there's a story that they bring down from the Arizal. He had a friend of his that disrespected Bar Yochai, and something terrible happened to him. So there was a powerful, there's power to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. And I'm not taking anything away from Rashbi. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai was an amazing Tana. But it's not, like I said, it's not over the table everything you need to know about this day in the Gemara. I'll open up a Gemara and have the whole story. It's not like that. But either way, I want to try to delve into it. What we know for sure, Maran Shulchan Aruch says, that the students stopped dying on the 33rd. The 33rd day of the Omer, which is today, the plague, the epidemic, the pandemic was over. That we know for sure from Maran Shulchan Aruch.
Did that stop dying? There were more after that? I mean,
it seems no. It seems, right. Were there any left? So that's a question. So some want to say they all died. There's nobody left. And the new students that he found later were brand new students. There's another opinion that these 5 students, why do we celebrate Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Because they actually were from the first set. And then when the Gezerah stopped and they woke up that morning and they were alive, wow, it's over. We're still here. So that's another opinion. Again, it's not clear. It's not clear. There's no clear Mesorah. The Chidah writes, not that today is the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai died. Today is the day that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai started learning with Rabbi Akiva. That's what the Chidah says. This is day 1 of my brand new set of students, including amongst them Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai Rashbi. That's why it's a holiday for him. Chidah writes. The day 1 of the new student that lasted and gave us so much Torah.
So he agrees with the
He agrees there's something about Rashbi on this day.
Something about Rashbi, but it's not.
Not that he died. Right.
It's not a Hidullah. He didn't go to heaven.
It says in the Zohar, on the day that he died, he says, call it a Hidullah. But it doesn't give the date in the Zohar.
Yeah. So he doesn't collect on the concept of Hidullah, but he collects on the date.
Yeah. But I want to give you my own idea, and honestly, it's inspired mostly by Rav Asher Weiss, but it's really my own idea, and I'm not sure it's true or not. So I want to run it by you. If you like it, great. If not, I'll delete it. It's okay. Yeah. Do we have, no, the trash can right behind you, Moshe. So I want to touch on a couple of points here. Everyone always wants to know, what in the world did these students what in the world did these 24,000 students do that they earned death? That's like, everyone wants to know this question. These people were Geonei Olam. They were the greatest rabbis ever. The students of Rabbi Akiva. And this is Lo Nagu Kavod Zadeh. They didn't honor each other. I mean, seriously? Everyone asks this question. The rabbi was Rabbi Akiva, who said, Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. You should love your friend like yourself. Do you think the students didn't love each other? So I want to pay close attention to the words used. And where do you see the story that the 24,000 students died? So a couple of places. The words in the Gemara Yevamot says, Shenem Asar Elef Zugim Tamidim. Hayu lo Rabbi Akiva Moshe. The words are important, right? So don't complain later to me. Listen. Shenem Asar Elef Zugim Tamidim Hayu lo Rabbi Akiva. There were 12,000 pairs of students, Rabbi Akiva, Migibat ad Antipras, from the city of Gibat until the city of Antipras. The Chulan metu beperek echad, and they all died in one period of time. And they give you the reason. Mipnei shelo nahadu kavod ze lazeh, because they didn't give honor to one another. Lo nahagu kavod ze lazeh. Ve'haya ha'olam shamem. I'm reading from Yevamot 62. Yevamot 62. Ve'haya ha'olam shamem, and the world was desolate of Torah. Ad sheba Rabbi Akiva, until Rabbi Akiva came. Esel raboteno shebadarom, to the rabbis of the south. V'shane'al lahem, and he taught them. I always think when I read this word, there's only kudot. It's literally spelled v'shin'al lahem, hatred. V'shane'al lahem, and he taught them. Who are these? And it tells you the names of the students. Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shimon, that's Bar Yochai, Rabbi Elazar ben Shemua, 5 students. Vehem hem ha'emidu Torah, and these are the people who stood up the Torah. At that time. Tana kulam metu mi Pesach ve'al Aseret. They all died from Pesach till Shavuot. Doesn't say when.
So it doesn't actually. This may contradict the concept that it stopped on the 33rd, because it says on the 3rd. So perhaps it lasted all the way.
There were lots of people when I was in yeshiva. There were lots of, maybe in your yeshiva, there were lots of people who went all the way till Shavuot. The Arizal didn't shave until Shavuot. Yeah. And how they died? It tells us how they died. They all had a horrible death. Mahi, what is a terrible death? Amar Brahman, askira, which is choking, strangulation, terrible. The throat closes up. It's a horrible death. That's the Gemara Yevamot. What always bothered me by this Gemara was when I count, I don't always count in pairs. It said he had 12,000 zugot, 12,000 pairs of students. Here's the words. Shinem asad elef zugim tamidim. 12,000 pairs of students. And if I read you another Gemara, Ketuvot 62, it says also, but listen to the words here. It says, this is he went to study for 12 years. When he came back, he heard his wife with the neighbor. She said, I wish you can study another 12 years.
When he turned around,
he went another 12 years. Kiata, when he came back, Aiti Bahadeh, he brought with him, Esrin ve'arba'a alfei tamideh, 24,000 students. That's a normal way to say a number. It's 24,000. Why doesn't this Gemara say 12,000 pairs?
Because they weren't pairs.
This Gemara says 12,000 pairs died.
Because when he came back, there were 24,000, and between this bar and that bar, I paired them.
Could be. And what does it mean? Like we said, Lo nagu kavod ze lazeh, they didn't have honor for one another.
Which one comes first? 12?
It's the same story.
No, the 12 first or the 24?
Ketuvot is before Yevamot. This one is first. But it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. Just the order of the Masechet. Because once you have stories, there's no first and last.
By the way, it's interesting. It says kavod ze lazeh.
Yeah.
This in modern Hebrew, you would say kavod ze baz.
Yeah, that's not really my question. It was similar. Why would you say any of that? They didn't. We say that Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because sinat chinam. Lo nagu kavod ze lazeh. They didn't have kavod ze lazeh, this to this. I don't know if I would say it that way.
But just with halakha, by the halakha, is no reason to die, right?
No, halachically is no reason to die. So we can go to last week's class about the Gilgulim, and they had to die because they had to do tikkun and all that. That can maybe help with that. Okay, now, also I very much enjoy that the Gemara counts the students for us. It's very nice. I don't know if the Gemara would have to do that. Now I want to read you something that I don't know if you ever heard before. This one, did you know this story is also told in the Midrash? Midrash Kohelet 11. Kohelet Rabbah 11. Let's see if this one sounds any different. Ready, Moshe? This is Midrash Kohelet Rabbah. Kohelet Rabbah 11. Rabbi Akiva said, Shenem Asad Alafim Tamidim Hayoli, I had 12,000 students, Migibat at Antripas, until from these cities, Bichulan Metu B'Hayai Ben Pesach, B'Hayai Ben Pesach La'asir. They all died in my lifetime, between Pesach and Shavuot. Ubasol Ve'imidli Shiv'ah. There we go. Itai's listening. And at the end, I only had seven students. How many students in the first Gemara? Five students. Ve'elohen, thank God, he counts the students for us. Here's are the 7 students I had. Rabbi Yehuda, we had him before in the Yevamot.
Rabbi Yehuda, we had. Rabbi Yosef, we had.
Rabbi Yosef.
Shimon, we had.
Hold on. Rabbi Yehuda, we had. Rabbi Nehemiah, we did not have. Rabbi Meir, we had. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Eliezer, Binosh Rabbi Yosef Gilili, no. Rabbi Yohanan Hassan Delah, Rabbi Yohanan the Sandler. No, we didn't have him. Here's the Gemara Yevamot. The Gemara Yevamot says.
No, so we're missing.
We had Rabbi Eliezer. It didn't say his father's name. So let's read the. Yeah, it just called Ben Shamua. Maybe it's different. 5 students here, 7 students here. It's worth noting the Rambam, in his introduction to the Mishnayot, writes that Rabbi Nehemiah is Rabbi Meir. According to the Rambam, I don't know. The Rambam's not on this midrash. In general, he says Rabbi Nehorai is Rabbi Meir. Rambam says, right? Rabbi Nehorai, it's also a word of sight, to see. And Rabbi Meir is the light, to see. He says they're both the same person. And actually, his name was Rabbi Nehemiah. That's what the Rambam writes in the Pirush. So, 3 names.
1 person.
Yeah, that's what the Rambam writes. So maybe according to the Rambam, Rabbi Nehorai and Meir, yes. Rabbi Meir, everyone has Rabbi Nehorai as Rabbi Meir. Yeah. Huh?
So that's a nickname.
Yeah, but a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so according to the Rambam, I'm just throwing it out here. According to the Rambam, I don't know if this is the same Rabbi Nehemiah or different. I don't know. Regardless, this Gemara gives us 5 rabbis. This Kohelet gives us 7 rabbis. Okay. And this Gemara, this Midrash has a beautiful ending that we didn't hear before. Listen to this. Amar lahem, and Rabbi Akiva told the new guys, the new students, Harishonim lo metu. You know why my first students died? This is him talking. In the Gemara Yevamot, it's like we're talking about his students. He's talking and he's telling his new students, guys, I just lost 24,000. Want to know why they died? Little different words. Their eyes were cheap. Their eyes were stingy with Torah, zelazeh, one to another. Atem lot you can. You guys can't do this again. Don't make the same mistake. Miyad amidu umilu kol Eretz Yisrael Torah. They stood up and they filled the whole land of Eretz Yisrael with Torah. That's the story in the Midrash. Well, a little bit different than the Gemara.
Yeah. The interpretation of Torah is
cheap. That's usually how they do it. Sarei ayin. It's cheap.
Sarei ayin are those who paint it, are those who wish the others not to have something. They want it to themselves. It's more than that.
It's holding back what you have.
That explains the whole concept. They wanted their Torah for themselves. They didn't want to share the Torah.
So here's my first thought that I have, and it's based on personal experience. When I read this Midrash and this Gemara, a very simple question. You know the simple question? They're both odd numbers. How do you have Havruta? How do you have a pair? There's 5 students. Who would one guy learn with? 7 students. Who would one guy learn with?
Are you talking about
how the students learn?
The second round.
Yeah, the second round. How'd they learn? Both odd numbers.
All together were one trouble. Or they used to switch around.
So I'll tell you. Huh? Maybe. When I was in After I finished 3 years of Bet Midrash, which is the word Beis Medrash, which is the word they use out there for post-high school studying before Kolel. Yeah? Ever got that? You got that? You're going to need to know that soon. You're going to have to know that soon. Bet Midrash, Beis Medrash, when you go to Beis Medrash, it's a word they use out there for a boy who's not married, who finished high school, and still wants to study. So Kolel is a word for married guys. So single guys, they go to Bet Midrash, that's the word. Huh? When I finished 3 years of Bet Midrash, I got married later than all my friends. I don't know what to do with myself. I still wasn't married. So there was when I was studying, even 30-year base. I'm going to talk in the Ashkenaz words now because that's the world it was. Yeah. Thank you. When I was studying, 3rd-year base medrash was like never heard of. There was 2 years base medrash. It was expected you were supposed to be Joaz. You're supposed to be married by the 3rd year. And now already these days, there's yeshivas have tons of. They say as long as you want, single. But when I was very hard when I was younger to find a place to study, if you weren't married. And so after a couple of years, I skipped the 12th grade. I just took all the tests, and I passed them all. I passed though, so I just went straight to learning all day long. 12th grade, and 2 years after that, I did. My English principal went crazy. He was very upset because my Hebrew principal said to him, "This guy should be learning Torah all day long." He said he has to get his diploma. He said, "Give him the test." He's not going to pass. Passed all the tests. He went crazy. Hashem help me. So after that, I did 2 years base measures. And then I said, why am I telling you all this for? I said, what am I going to do? So there's only 2 places when I was studying that you can go as a single guy and learn after 2 years base measures. One is in Yerushalayim in the Mir, which I wish I went to. And the other is Lakewood, base measures Kavoa, BMG, Lakewood Yeshiva. And so I was given 2 options, either go there or go there. And so, I like to be home with my family. I don't want to leave the house. So I said, I'll go to Lakewood. So I went to Lakewood. Lakewood at that time had 5,000 students. Yeah. I came from Deal, New Jersey. Deal, New Jersey. My growing up, my class, I had 6 kids in my class. 6, the whole way through high school. And so 5,000 guys, Ashkenazim, Payas, the whole night. So it was the scariest moment when I took the test, the Faher. You have to find a Rosh Yeshiva. I have like PTSD from this whole experience. Long story short, I got accepted to BMG. There's 5 buildings. There's 5 buildings. Like one building here, 3 blocks down is another building. Each building has 2,000 people in it. So I said, when does the Zman, the new Zman starts tomorrow? Who am I studying with? I was just a guy from Deal. All this Ashkenazim, I don't know anybody. Who am I studying with? He said, you have to come find the Chavrusa. I said, how do I find the Chavrusa? I was in what's called a Chabura. In these big yeshivas, they have little Chaburas. If you walk into one of these massive yeshivas, it just looks like 2,000 guys with stenders. But they're really, every 30 guys is a different Chabura. There's no signs or anything that you would know. Every 30, 40, 50 guys is a different Chabura. And then once a week, they'll go inside a room and the Maggid Shir will tell them a shiur. Okay? So I called my Rosh Chabura that I joined in. There was a Sephardic group. I joined the Sephardic group. I said, who's my Havruta? He said, you got to find your own Havruta. So this is Lakewood. I said, how do I find one? Is there like an index I'm supposed to call people? He said, no, the first day of this month is Chavrusa Shaf Day. I said, what's Chavrusa Shaf Day? He said, the first day of this month, everyone piles onto the lawn of the yeshiva, and it's like, find a wife. You find a Chavrusa. You walk. I said, is there learning? No, there's no learning. It's Chavrusa Day. That's the day. I showed up. I was scared out of my pants. I showed up to the thing. I see thousands of guys, they're all white shirts, black pants. Everyone looks the same. How am I supposed to find the Chavrusa? It was the most intimidating experience of my life. And I'm a Sephardi guy. I can barely pronounce the words Ashkenaz. If they hear me say one word, they think I'm an Arab. I'm going to blow up the place. So I woke up to a random guy who made eye contact. I'm like, Are you looking for a chavrusa? He's like, no, I have a chavrusa already for like 15 years. I'll go to another guy. You're looking for a chavrusa? He's like, sorry, I have a chavrusa already, 7 years. I said, how am I ever? Because everyone has a chavrusa. And I thought to myself, this is a kolel. These guys learn all day long forever. There is no exit to kolel. They all have their chavrusas already. How's a single guy supposed to find a chavrusa here? Just join the thing. So I called my Rosh Chabura and I said, I can't do this. Maybe I should just cancel. I need a chavrusa. I'm supposed to walk over and be rejected by 3,000 people? He said, all right, I'll get you a guy. He's been looking for a chavrusa for a while. It was the reject in my first month. Why am I saying this story? What I realized was sometimes in the yeshiva world, your chavrusa is your life. Your chavrusa is your wife. These guys, they learn, they don't switch a lot of things. From my personal experience, a chavrusa, a chavruta, they stay with each other for like 20 years. They're like married to each other. And so when I read this, there was 5 guys and there were 7 guys. That's what I think to myself. Who the third wheel? Who did he learn with? It must be so awkward to be that last guy. Okay, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is with Rabbi Meir. And Rabbi Yehuda is with Rabbi Yosef. Who's Rabbi Eliezer with? Painful.
I think that's a concept of the odd numbers, to break the concept
yeah, that's where I'm going.
To be sharing and spreading.
And so I think Rabbi Akiba, on purpose, in my humble opinion, on purpose, said, what caused this huge problem? What caused the huge problem? 12,000 pairs of students. Everyone had a havruta. They were paired up with each other. What about everybody else? Because in the first story in Ketuvot, it says 24,000 students when he was rocking and rolling. But when they died, it says 12,000 pairs of students died. Why doesn't it say 24,000? Because it was the fact they became pairs. Lo nagu kavod ze laze, maybe ze is 12 and ze is 12. Maybe the 12,000 and the 12,000 didn't give enough honor to anyone else besides for their match, their havruta. You have a guy in the corner who's brand new, who has no chavrusa. Are you going to invite him in? Or are you going to say, listen, we've been learning for 16 years already. We have our thing. Rabbi Akiba, you agree? Rabbi Akiba admonishes his students in the Kohelet Rabbah. And he says, Harishonim lo metu ela mepnei she'ayta enehem sara b'Torah ze lazer. They were stingy with their Torah. They didn't want to share ze lazer with the other 12,000 guys. Atem loti, you can. You guys cannot make the same mistake. Miyad amidu umili'u kol Eretz Yisrael Torah. They filled everywhere with Torah, not just the yeshiva. Anybody who wants to learn Torah, and it's anybody, is in. I'll learn with you. Maybe Rabbi Akiba had all 5 guys learning together, all 7 guys learning together. Or maybe he had that third guy rotating. But it wasn't an even number, whatever it was, whether it was 5 or it was 7. Teaching them, breaking them. It's not only about the pair. You have to share more than just one. Okay, good. Your friend. You think they didn't fulfill his mitzvah? Yeah, I'm doing it. That's my friend. My havruta. I love him like myself. No. There's another guy. Not only you and your friend. Zilazeh, all 12,000. And so now, maybe we can look and see these students, the new students, with the new lessons that they learned, how did they teach Torah to the world? And so look at the words they use. And so we have some of their words in Pirkei Avot. And so let's open up Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot, we go to chapter 6, Mishnah 6. We want only things that they said. I want to see what the new students said. That's what I'm looking for. What did the new students teach? Did they show us this message that they learned? So look at 6:6. Pirkei Avot, actually, you know what? Let me use where's that green one here? Because it's the right numbers. Pirkei Avot 6:6. We'll see one of them. Did you know Pirkei Avot, depending on the book you use, is a whole different Mishnah? You know that? So yeah, whenever you research Pirkei Avot, every different you look, it's like Perek 6, chapter 2. In this book, it's chapter 4. It's like it's very broken up differently. Yeah? You know what I'm talking about? So that's why I'm going to go by this book. Which one did I use yesterday? This one or this one? I don't know which one I used yesterday. Let's see. Pirkei Avot 6:6. It says, look at this. By the way, 6 and 6 equals 12. Just saying. In Pirkei Avot 6:6, it counts the 48 ways to acquire Torah. And that's what we're doing now until Shavuot. Because we start counting on the second day of Pesach. We're 49 days of the Omer, and that's the end. So 48 days. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says there are 48 ways you acquire Torah. The Arba'a Esrim, here. Arba'a Ushmona Devarim HaTorah Niknet. There are 48 things you need to do to acquire the Torah, which means if you did one of these things every day of the Omer, then by the Shavuot, you're ready to go. Says Rav Asher Weiss, count the list. Count them. Elohim, Talmud, 1. Shmiat HaOzen, 2. Arichat Sifatayim, 3, 4, 5, 6. Count the list until you get to item number 33. Item number 33. Ohev et habiriyot. Love the creations. Love, what does it say in the English? Creatures, it says. The creations, the creatures. Item number 33 on the list. Lag is love the creations. Not just your friend. It's a deeper word than le'ra'acha. Not your havruta. Any creation or any person, any human being, any animal even. What's a creation? Ohev et habiriyot. People, let's say. Says Rav Asher Weiss, why would the Hidah say, and Maram B'Shulchan Aruch say, the death stopped on Lag BaOmer? Is it like Mordechai said, that they ran out of students?
No, because on the 33rd.
Because he said, when the first day of the Magifah started, and the people started dying, they said, oh, what is going on here? We have to start from scratch. We're going to do the 48 ways of Torah starting today. And on day 1 of the Magifah, they did 1, and on 2, and on 3, and on the 33rd day of the Omer, when they said, today is Ohev et habiriyot, love the creations, the Magifah stopped. That's what Rav Asher Weiss said. They worked on one piece every single day. That's Lag BaOmer, the day when love the creations came out. If you look at the Rambam, remember I told you in the Pirusha Mishnah, the Rambam in the introduction to the Mishnah, the Rambam tells you all about rabbis like Rabbi Nehemiah, Rabbi Meir. The Rambam gives you a whole tradition of which rabbi taught which student, all the way down. Rabbi Asher Weiss says the same thing. Count the people. When you get to number 32, it's Rabbi Akiva. Number 33 is Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Lag. And so look at what they say. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Today is his day. He has something to say in Pirkei Avot. 3, 4. 3 times 4 is 12, yeah? Perek 3, Mishnah 4. Says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Shelosha she'achlu al shulchan echad. 3 people who eat on one table. Velo amru alav devrei Torah, and didn't talk Torah. Kilu achilu mezibchei metim. It's like they're eating from the death, sacrifices of the dead. Abba shelosha she'achlu al shulchan echad. For the 3 guys, they're eating on one table. Ve'amru alav devrei Torah, and they share Torah words. Kilu achlu mishulchano shel makom. It's like they're eating Hashem's food. 3 guys Not just 2 guys sitting at the table eating lunch and learning. 3 guys. 3 guys, an odd number. This is only my idea. You don't have to like it. Look at Rabbi Meir. He also has something to say. What? Pirkei Avot?
Oh, 60.
3:4. Pirkei Avot 4:12. Akiva. Pirkei Avot 4:12. We have another student of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Meir. What does he have to say in 4:12? Rabbi Meir Omer, Heveh shefal ruach b'fnei chol adam. You have to be humble in front of every person. Not only Talmidei Hachamim, every person. These are the students. This became their models in their life. Literally the lesson, the second setting of students embodying this lesson. One more. Let's do one more. And I wrote down many more sources from the Gemara that these people live these principles, but I only want to do Pirkei Avot right now. Pirkei Avot, last one. 4:15. Another student. Rabbi Elazar ben Shamua, one of the students. Yihi chebod tamidecha haviv alecha keshelach. Your friend's honor should be more dear than your honor. Uchvod habercha k'mora rabach. And the honor of your friend like your master. Umora rabach k'mora shamayim. These people literally said, okay, we got the message. We got it. We're going to change our lives. It's not about your chavrusa, your havruta. Should we end it here, or do you want one more piece? Yeah. I have another amazing piece for you. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, where do you find the story where he's in the grave with his son? On the grave, the cave. That would be a weird story. Where do you find the story where he's in the cave with his son, studying for all these years? Where do you find this? Where in the Gemara does it say this story? Yeah, Gemara Shabbat, page 33, obviously. Gemara Shabbat says a story. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and his son were studying in the cave. And when they came out, his son was burning everybody alive with his eyes because he was so holy. They went back in the cave, and when they came out again, what did he do?
He undid what the son did.
It says, he went and he said, is there anything I can do for mankind to help? And he made dirachim. He made new roads. He said, looks like the Kohanim, they want to go from this building to this building, but there's a cemetery here, so they have to go all the way around. I'm going to make a little road this way for the Kohanim.
He was spilling the water.
Yeah. And so the first thing that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai did is tikkun olam, worrying about other people. What else do you see? In the Gemara Sukkah. Sukkah, page 45b. I didn't bring this one here. We'll do it by heart. It's okay. Eat that. You'll look it up later. It's all right. Gemara Sukkah, page 45b says, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, Yachol ani liftor et kol ha'olam kolo min adin. You ever heard this phrase? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, Yachol ani liftor et kol ha'olam kolo min adin. I can make every single person in the world free from punishment. I can make everyone off the hook. This is a statement he made. How? It doesn't say how. Why? Zohar, Ben Ish Chai, and the Hidah both say the same exact commentary. And I love it. Ben Ish Chai says, there's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. We have a lot of sources today, I'm sorry. Gemara, Sanhedrin 91. Akiva, you got it? Gemara Sanhedrin 91 says as follows. There was a person who was debating with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. This person's name was Antoninos. Amarle, and let me get this side so I read it with the right nikudot. Amarle Antoninos the Rabbi. Antoninos tells Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Guf unshama יכולים לפטור עצמם מן הדין. A body and a soul, both of them, they can just be exempt from punishment. Both the body and the soul should never be punished. Ketzad? How? Guf omer, the body says, neshama hata. I didn't sin. The neshama made the sin. I didn't do anything. The body says, the neshama made the sins. How do I know? Shimiyom shepirsha mimeni, hareni mutal, ke'evin domim bakever. The second you took the neshama out of me, did I make any sins? I didn't make any sins because I can't move. And so it's the neshama's fault. So go punish the neshama. What do you want from me? And the neshama says, and the neshama amar, omeret, guf hata. The body sinned, not me. Shimiyom shepirashti mimenu. When I left the body, did I make any sins? It says the soul. No. I'm flying around like a bird. And so this Antoninos is a troublemaker. So it's a cute claim, but it's not true. There's onish when there's accountability. So what is the answer? How do you answer him? Amar le, Rabbi says to him, I'll give you an example of where you're going wrong here. What is this like? And once I say it, you're going to know it. A lot of you are going to know this, recognize it. To a king, he has a wonderful, beautiful garden. I have to add a few words here to make it make sense. Bakurot naot, with beautiful fruits. He put 2 guards to guard the garden. Why? Because any guard he put there before would just eat the fruit. The guard's job is to tell people on the outside, don't enter, this fruit belongs to the king. And they're just all eating the fruit. It's delicious fruit. So they're all eating it. So what does he do? He says, I got 2 new guards. One of them is a cripple who can't walk. And the other one is blind who can't see. He put them at the gates. If you hear anybody, or you see it, or you hear anybody coming, tell them to go away. The cripple who can see the fruit tells the suma, the blind man, I see some beautiful fruits in the garden. Come, put me on your shoulders. You can't see, I can see. I can't walk, you can walk. Put me on your shoulders. We'll eat them together, you and me. And so he did this. He puts the cripple on his shoulders. And they go gather all the fruit and they enjoy. The king comes, he sees his delicious fruit is all gone. Where's my beautiful fruit? The cripple tells to the king, what, you think I can walk and go pick your fruit? What do you want from me? The blind man says, you think I have eyes, I can go see the fruit and take it? What did the king do? He'd get on his back. He puts the cripple on his back and he whacks him. Says, this is the way you enjoy, this is the way you get punished. This is the answer Rabbi gives to Antoninos. So says the Ben Ish Chai, really we have a guf and a neshama. It's a pretty good claim, says the Ben Ish Chai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, any body in the world I can get off the hook in Shamayim. You know why? Because, Rabotai, this is the last source for today, okay? There's a Gemara on Shabbat. I didn't bring it, I don't think. This Gemara is on page 92. It's okay. Yeah, if you have it, get it real quick. This Gemara on Shabbat is page 92. It's a Mishnah on Shabbat. The Mishnah says as follows. Thank you. 92. The Mishnah says, if 2 people, if one person on Shabbat, where there's no eruv, let's say, carries a loaf of bread from the public street to the private street, no eruv, you can't do that on Shabbat. If 2 people together pick up the loaf of bread and they carry it, do they get punished? No. Why? Because each one of them is only doing half of the shiur. You can't punish each one because he's I didn't do it. He did half of it. However, says the Mishnah, המוציא כיכר של תלמיד חייב, הוציאו שיניים פיטורין, לא יכול אחד להוציאו. If one person is not strong enough to carry this thing, והוציאו שיניים, and therefore he needed his friend's help, hayavin, they are obligated, they are hayav because they needed your friend's help. You only get off the hook when your friend was just an extra person. But if you needed his help, he said, no, you couldn't have done it yourself. So you each were necessary, and this is the halakha l'maaseh. Two people that do something on Shabbat, if it's something one person could have done, they're not going to be punished. Hashem might do some judgment in Shemayim, but from bad deeds, no punishment. If it's something you need both people for, then the punishment. But there's someone who disagrees. Rabbi Shimon poter. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says no.
So
they're off the hook.
Make this claim in Shema.
And so therefore says the Ben Ish Chai and the Chidah. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is going to say, Hashem, you have a body and you have an neshama. They needed each other to sin. Either way, if they needed each other, if they didn't need each other's help, and they did it together, they're free. If you're going to say, no, but he was blind and he was crippled, so he couldn't do it without him, and he couldn't do it without him, I hold a partner crime is free. And so if I really want, I can poter the whole world from Onish. Says this is what Ben Ish Chai explains inside of Bishul Yochai. Now, even though the halakha is not like the Bishul Yochai, today is the day of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It's the Hilulah of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Or according to the Chidah, it's the day where he started. Whatever it is, today is the day where we honor Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Maybe the halakha can follow him just one day, just on this day, where he could be poter all of us from all of our sins. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The Siror Hamor says that the days of the Omer are actually days of great judgment. Not like we just said in Yehavedah. The Siror Hamor says, Sefirat HaOmer is a time of serious dinim, of serious judgment. How do you know? Well, first of all, it's a mitzvah that we only do at night. Night is a time of judgment. If it was a time of mercy, we would do it in the daytime. Secondly, these days, where do we have more of an actual remembrance of the destruction of the temple than the Omer? Every night when we bless Sefirat HaOmer, we should be thinking to ourselves, we're doing this because we should have done the Qurban, but we don't have the Qurban. So every night of the Omer, you think about the Qurban, destruction of the temple. In addition, says the Surah Amor, you don't make Shehiyano during the Omer. Even though halakha is not like him. It's a time of sorrow. Says the Surah Amor, the Omer, you see the students of the Rabbi Akiva, they died. It's a time of Puranut and Sarah for Am Yisrael. And the climax, the scariest, most harsh day of the whole Omer is Lag baomer, says the Siror Hamor. And the hint in the Torah is Ed Hagal Hazeh. When Yaakov and Laban were making their treaty, they piled up stones. Yaakov called it Gal'ed. It's a pile of stones that's a testimony. If you pass this pile, you will be in big trouble. They each made a treaty. Ed Hagal. Gal is Lag. 33rd day of the Omer is Edut. It's judgment. It's very scary. And he brings another pasuk from Yirmiyah. A gal, it's a wave that's crashing down on our heads. The troubles of the Omer, of Rabbi Akiva and his students, was a wave crashing down, and the climax, the most scariest, biggest, most dangerous wave is the day of the gal, of Lag baomer. However, somehow on this day, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai flipped it all around. And he took this day of strict dinim and he made it into the Hamim. How did he do this? Shlomo doesn't say this. Ben Ish Chai would say this. He did this by saying, Hashem, leave them alone. The body and the soul, one is crippled, one is blind. The body doesn't know where it's going. He's blind. He can walk, but he doesn't know where he's going. The neshama knows where it's going, but it's crippled. Let them off the hook. On this one day of Lag BaOmer, we change the whole feeling of the Omer. From the greatest dinim of the Gal, of the Ed, Hagal Hazeh. So I would say, you could read the Pasuk, Ad Hagal Hazeh. Until the 33rd day of the Omer. Now, Moshe, he didn't say it. Ed Hagal Hazeh, the 12,000 pairs. Ed Hagal, he doesn't say this, I'm saying this. Ed Hagal Hazeh. However, let's change it because of the Bishmon Yochai. Ad Hagal Hazeh. Until the 33rd day of the Omer, the Zeh was a problem. Now we're okay. Why? Because we're an odd number. And so the lesson for today for me is, you may have your buddy that you share your Torah with. There's someone who wants to be the third wheel. Let them in. Let them in. Spread Torah to the whole Eretz Israel. It's not enough if we do it with each other. Any person who wants to drink, let them have a drink of the water. This is the message. I hope you like this Hidush for Lag BaOmer. Have a great day and enjoy the whatever today is.
Why I was laughing when you said